Welcome back to the Become Limitless Podcast. This week we're going to cover taking control and what I believe to be the best way to take control of your life, to really, grab it and really get that power back, gain some power back. And I know I say this often throughout this whole podcast series, that's what my plan is, to give you as much knowledge and information and create awareness within you that you can start to control your life more and be the storyteller, not the person that's just the character running in the story. You're not just participating in the story, you're actually dictating where it's going and what's happening in the story, and you're writing the pages of your own life. But before all that, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone that listens to this podcast, all the followers on the Facebook and the Instagram. I really do appreciate all the support and love that gets sent my way. I do appreciate it because we've hit over 3,000 listens on the podcast, so it's absolutely monumental, and I never thought it'd get this far, and it's amazing. I just wanted to say thank you very much, and I just wanted to show my gratitude to you all, and I really do appreciate everyone listening to this, and I hope you really are getting everything you need out of this. And well, without further ado, let's get into it. So I believe the key to really taking control of your own life is to stop being a victim, to stop having this victim mindset, to be stuck where things are happening to you and I can't get ahead, or because this is happening, or this circumstance is my life and I'm in this certain situation and I can't get myself out of this and I'm stuck here, and a whole host of other things. I'm sick, there's a whole, you've got a heap of excuses for why you're not achieving, you're not going towards a certain way, or just you're not excelling, you're not becoming limitless, you're not going to your full potential, you're not getting to your full potential. And that all comes from having that victim mindset where it's like, well, no, it's not really my fault, and this happened and such did this to me, and all those excuses happen and they stop you. They rob you of power. They rob you of that power that I'm talking about. The power to create your life, the power to write the pages of your life, to write the pages of your story, to dictate where your life's going. So I am going to lay out a few tips or tricks, or whatever you want to call them, methods that you can use to really start to switch from being a victim mindset to being more in control, a controlling mindset or a power mindset. And it really comes down to taking ownership of mistakes you do, taking ownership of everything that happens in your life. You are in control of your life. And as soon as you start to realize that, no, it wasn't such and such, yes, I can't control what they do. So my first method to starting to change from a victim mindset to that control, that power mindset, is to start changing the narrative, to start reframing. Now, I have done an episode on reframing. If you need to go back, that's a really awesome episode on how we can change the situation in multiple different ways. Go back, check that out, because that's really powerful to be utilized here to take control and change this victim mindset to a power and control mindset. So instead of thinking things happen to you, they happen for you. It's a subtle change, but it helps dictate the way your brain thinks, the way the brain's responding to the stimulus, the reality we live in. So someone that thinks things happen to me will be constantly thinking that all these things outside me keep bombarding me and I can't get away from it, and all these things happen to me and that's why I'm not getting anywhere. That's why I'm not succeeding. That's why I'm stuck where I am. This is why these circumstances keep happening to me, because it's happening to me. As soon as you change that to these things are happening for me, well, now this has happened for me. What am I getting out of this? What information can I retrieve from this? What information can I learn from this? What can I learn from this situation? Why is this happening? And then you start to change to a solution, or a not such an emotionally charged way of looking at life. where you'll find someone that is in that victim mindset and things are happening to me are more the way they feel. They focus on the way they felt when they were doing, when that was happening, when that situation was happening, when that person stabbed me in the back, whatever the case may be. They remember how it felt and how they were like wronged and all those kind of things. All those feelings that pop up when that happens. The person that has the things happen for me will look at it and go, okay, let's remove the emotion from the situation. Why did this happen? How can I prevent it from happening again? What other things could I do better to obviously get myself in a better position if this does happen again, and allow me to take control more in this position when this circumstance happens again, if it happens again, or I can prevent it from happening again. That's the difference. You're looking at things without the emotion, just purely to learn in the past of what things have happened before, or you could be in the victim mindset where it's completely emotional and you're only thinking about how you felt in that point in time and how that situation made you feel and then that obviously, if you've been listening to some of the other episodes that I've done, that dictates so much of your body language, that dictates so much of your thoughts. When you start to have the emotions, it just rolls back up into the brain, and then the thoughts come, and then the thoughts then trigger more emotions, and you get into this vicious cycle that it's really hard to get out of once you get into, and you're stuck being a victim. So my first tip, my first method is to start changing that mindset. Start changing whenever something happens and it's not going the right way you want it to go. Just think, okay, why did this happen for me? This happened for me. Why does it happen for me? And for evidence of that, look at where you are in life and what's happened to push you into certain different directions and certain different circumstances that has made you arrive to where you are now, to be the person you are now, to have the experiences that you have now. There'll be little things like you went on a trip and something fell through, you couldn't stay somewhere, so you had to stay somewhere else, and you get a great experience from that. You met someone, you had a lifetime friend, things like that, little things like that. Like, you could look at it as like, oh, I fell through and I didn't get to stay where I wanted to stay, and you could constantly be emotionally charged by that. But then you think about it, no, I was able to go somewhere else, have a new experience, meet someone new, and I've got a lifetime friend from it. That's all because of those little things that happened for you, not to you, for you. So it's very important that we start looking and just look back at your life. You'll be able to find heaps of things. I know for myself, I find heaps of things where it's just like something didn't pan out. Like for myself, going towards doing uni and going to do a certain degree, it just didn't pan out, and end up being firefighter, which is one of the best things that's happened in my life. Like, I am so very happy in what I do, and what I do makes me feel so good. So that little thing like that, like, so I could have had a completely different life where I wasn't a firefighter, or I was off doing something else, part of that university degree. So it's very important to look back and realize that these little things happen for us, because at the time, of course, I felt like rubbish. I'm like, I just didn't get accepted in, I'm not smart enough, all these things. And it's hard to, in that point in time, stop the emotions that are kept rolling up. You can process those emotions and then think logically, okay, what am I getting from this? What opportunities are going to come? Okay, this didn't happen, X, Y, Z, why didn't this happen? How can I improve it next time? Okay, and then other things pop up, other things come in, other things change, and they allow you to go in directions that you never knew. So you've got to embrace that unknown that's going to come out of these situations that happen. And that's my very first tip. So remember, things happen for you, not to you. Start thinking that way. Now, the next method I like to use is everything is your fault or a consequence of an action or an inaction that you took or didn't take. So I just want you to think about that. Everything that happens to you in your life is your fault, is a direct consequence of whether you took action or you didn't take action. There was action or inaction in this whole process, in the situation. Everything that happened in your life is a consequence of that. And when I started you look back at your life, where did I do something a certain way or not do something a certain way? And how did that change the outcome, the circumstances of your life, the end, the results you're at, where you are right now? How many different paths could have you taken? How many different processes could have you gone through? Situations you could have gone through? How many different decisions could have you made? And they're all a result of you doing something or not doing something. So it's very empowering to know that everything is your fault. And I know Impact Theory, the host of Impact Theory, he loves coining this, and he says, even a car accident that you aren't at fault at, you still made the conscious decision to get in the car, to be on that road, at that time, and for you to be in that position was all actions that you took. That person ran into you, but you were still in that position because you made that decision. And it becomes very, very powerful when you realize that everything is in your control. Every little thing is part of your conscious control. You made those decisions to get to where you were going, to be where you were going to be, for those circumstances to happen. So now all you've got to do is start changing what you want to do. Let's get myself into better circumstances. Let's get myself into better situations. Let's start making opportunities happen. Because I am at fault for everything. I am in complete control of what happens to me. And that links back to things happen for me. And that all happens from you doing things. This happens for you because you are the one dictating what's happening in your life. You have control. There's so many different situations. People will think, I know I get it a lot. People going, oh, this happened to me and this happened to me. And I sit there and I think very objectively, well, you put yourself in that situation. You did this, you did that, you said this, you said that. You put yourself there, you came in early, you came in late, whatever the case may be. You did what you were doing and voila, you've got the circumstance and situation you're in. So once we start becoming aware, definitely awareness is powerful here again. And it's an underpinning thing for absolutely everything I'm going to talk about on this podcast as awareness. Because without it, we can't be aware of what we're doing and obviously can't action anything we're doing and being able to change anything we're doing. Because if we're not aware, we can't do any of that. So that awareness of seeing what's going on in our lives and how our actions are influencing exactly where we're going and what we're doing. The inaction, not going to the gym. I get fat. That's a result of you not taking action. Eating the wrong foods and it creates a health problem, or you get overweight, or whatever the case may be. It's all a result of actions that happen to you. People treating you a certain way will be a result of how you interacted with them, all different circumstances, being in a certain time. That person might have had a bad day and you just happen to be just put yourself in that position at that time where that person's having that bad day, and they just release that anger or whatever it is onto you. Still your fault for being in that position. And as soon as you take power over that, it creates a completely different narrative for your life. Because then it's like, well, I put myself here, I'm responsible for where I am here, and each and every action or inaction I take results in my life and how it all works. And so from there, you then can create momentum for yourself. You start looking at things happening for me. Then you start looking at things they're all my fault. Everything I've done, every action or inaction happens, starts to snowball. And you get a massive flow-on effect. And then the last thing you can do is take responsibility for your actions, for everything that happens. Take responsibility. Now, how often do you find yourself... I found myself doing this, and I sat there for a while and I thought about it. I sit there and there's some things that happen as a direct result of me, or indirectly as a result of actions I take, and I don't own up to it. Why are we taught that we don't own up to our failures, our mistakes, things that go wrong because we did something? Like, you want to shut that out and just completely deny it. A good one is when you're driving the truck and you hit a gutter. Some people deny that, and I used to deny it to a certain degree. And then when I started to realize that I was denying that my actions driving the truck, I touched the gutter. What's the big hoo-ha? Why am I trying to deny this? I took that action. As a result of that action, I hit a gutter. Yes, I stuffed up. I did this. And that happens in the workplace all the time. I start making mistakes and I just own up to it. What's the worst that could happen? That's what I like to think. I have to take responsibility for all my actions. What's the worst thing that can happen for taking responsibility for all these circumstances, situations that arise from the actions I take? What is the cause of this? Why do I not want to do that? Is it the fear of people seeing you as a different person, seeing you as a failure, seeing you as something else than what you want them to see? Because 9 times out of 10, people don't care what you're saying anyway, or feeling, or showing, or doing, or whatever your case. They're too preoccupied in how they look. So that's such a powerful thing to realize. Just take responsibility, because again, if you start taking responsibility for the actions or the actions you don't take, inaction you take, then your life is under your control. These 3 things start to snowball, and you feel more and more in control of what's going on in your life. You imagine the immense power and control you can feel when you realize that everything that happens around you is the result of your actions, and you are responsible for those actions, and they are happening for you. They're there to teach you a lesson. It's there to show you, maybe we shouldn't do it this way. Maybe we should try this approach. Maybe you shouldn't talk like that. All these things are there to make you realize and push you in a direction where you were meant to go, to create that limitless life, to push you towards that limitless life, to really unlock that limitless potential that's inside you. Because everyone has it. Everyone's got that limitless potential inside them, in their brains, in their bodies, everywhere. There's a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual performance, and everyone has limitless potential in it. So as soon as you start taking control of your life, you can start living more consciously, with more awareness, and it compounds. Everything else I talk about on this podcast then can start to compound, to start to snowball. One of my favourite people I like to listen to is Ed Milet, and he says the compounding effect of continuously doing these things over and over is just like water hitting a rock. It constantly bombards that rock. It might not get it done on the first day, the second day, the third day, but year after year of it doing its thing, it slowly wears away at that rock, and eventually that water is going to win. It's going to get through that rock. It might take a long time. We don't know how long it's going to take, but it is going to eventually happen. So if we keep pounding at this, we keep doing this, we keep taking responsibility for the actions and actions, we are responsible. It is our fault for everything that happens in our life. And everything that happens in our life is for us. And we start thinking, how can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? How can I get smarter, stronger? How can all these things happen? Because if you just think about it, that's the essence of life. Having situations or experiences, learning and growing from them, and then having new and different experiences from that different perspective you've just created from growing from the last one. That's what life is. So let's just recap. Stop being the victim. Start taking control of your life. That's changing your mindset from being, these things happen to me, to these things happen for me. Remember, not to you, for you. Next, everything is your fault. Everything that happens, every little situation that you're in is a result of the decisions, actions, or inactions you take. Everything. Next is take responsibility for all these different things that go the wrong way, to the actions and inactions that result to undesirable situations and consequences. And learn. Take responsibility. Yes, you stuffed up. Oh well, everyone makes mistakes. No one's perfect. Go and head through life and head towards that limitless life. Become limitless. Take control of your life. Okay, well that's the end of that episode.